Here with my dear friend, Rabbi Uri Topolosky, we had a powerful experience today here in Arizona, down near the border at a detention center, the Eloy Detention Center, where we wanted to experience the reality of what is happening in these detention centers. We hear a lot of news, a lot of conflicting stories, a lot of confusing ideas that's overly politicized. And we wanted to look and listen and bear witness to the reality on the ground. And so we had the opportunity to go with some wonderful partners in the detention centers just to listen, to counsel, to be friends, and stand in solidarity. And I'd love to hear, was there a moment that jumped out for you in that experience?
I sat first with this young woman, almost 25, named Fanny. And, from Eritrea, how do we say that country? Eritrea. And which I've never been, don't know much about. And I thought I was coming to see some people coming over the border from countries right over the border, but here was someone coming from a very different place. And she sat down and looked at me, and she said, "Shalom." I said, "Shalom." I thought that was cute. And she said, "Me'efo ata?" I said, "You're speaking Hebrew to me." And we proceeded to have a 30-minute conversation in Hebrew, because in her asylum journey, she spent 3 years in Israel, and it became the most special place in her life, where she learned Hebrew amongst all the other languages that she knows. An incredible young woman, and she asked me if I could transport her out of that place, not physically, but for the 30 minutes, 40 minutes we had together, just to transport her to her experience living in Israel, so she could recall and reflect on it and remember and savor the foods and the times and the places. And we just had this beautiful exchange in Hebrew, which was totally unexpected on the Arizona border, coming to sit with immigrants and bear witness with their story, or asylum seekers, or whoever we were going to see. And I was so moved by her spirituality, her power, how much Israel meant to her as a place that welcomed her in her journey. And just walking away with her story really touched me.
Beautiful. And I think there's a spiritual message there also around the interconnectedness of the global situation. The fact of how interconnected the problems around the world and opportunities around the world are. The fact that you're at the border of Arizona and Mexico, and she's there. I mean, it's very complex and very deep. So there's so many reflections I have, and one is this wonderful Pastor Florence I sat with, who is a woman in probably her early 60s, who fled from Cameroon after being tortured and after her husband was shot and killed, and had to flee and went to Ecuador and to Panama and to Guatemala and Costa Rica and through Mexico and other countries, Honduras, and was robbed, and there was rape, and had to flee and was stuck in a jungle of rain. And what I was blown away by was not just the trauma involved and how long and dangerous and scary her journeys were, nor was I blown away by the rough conditions in this detention center she was experiencing. That's fairly understood. But what I was most blown away by was that she continued to have this deepest faith that God was with her. After all of this, no money, no property, no citizenship, no country, no home, nowhere to go, stuck and locked for months in the detention center without any path forward. And multiple times, Mamisha asked her, "What do you want in your life? What would be your vision for what's next?" And every time she said, "I'm just following the path of God." Every time. And part of this is the victimhood of powerlessness, that she has no choice. She has no power. She is the forgotten, invisible person in society. Can't be seen, can't be heard, has no advocates. And part of it is that she's my Rebbe, that she teaches bitachon in a world of total uncertainty, in a world where none of us really know what's coming next. We continue to try to align our will with the will of God and try to walk that path forward. So I believe our opportunity going forward is to give voice to the people in these detention centers, to share these human stories, so it's not dismissed as just a political issue, but this is a deeply human issue and a deep crisis. So
Thank you.
may we continue that work together.